It was supposed to be an anniversary surprise for her husband, the tens of thousands of dollars she'd earned by investing in cryptocurrency.
The reality, though, was devastating for both of them.
She had been planning it for weeks. Her husband's anniversary was coming up and she had a secret. Tens of thousands of dollars sitting in an account with his name written all over it. She was going to walk up to him and show him the screen. All that money. Money she had grown herself. She had a big smile on her face. She said, "Look what I did." What she actually did was hand $85,000 to a group of strangers who were most likely operating out of Nigeria. And by the time she understood that, the money was already gone. This is the story of Scott Johansson and his wife. And before we go any further, she did not want to appear on camera. Scott spoke on her behalf.
She kept on buying more. The interest said, "You've basically doubled your money." I had to tell her, "You're being scammed." It was not until she was $80,000 in where she had to accept that she was being scammed.
That detail is worth sitting with for a moment, because one of the cruelest things these scams do is not just take the money. They take something quieter. They take a person's confidence in their own judgment. The shame that follows is part of why these operations keep working. Victims stay quiet. The scammers count on that. Scott and his wife decided not to stay quiet. A year ago, she was looking for a way to invest. She found a platform through Facebook that offered cryptocurrency trading. Cryptocurrency is digital money. Think of it like handing physical cash to a stranger at an airport. Once it leaves your hand, there is no bank to call. There is no manager to escalate to. There is no government insurance covering the loss. The money moves and it is gone.
She has a really hard time sleeping at night. She just now has a whole lot of trust issues. If it sounds too good to be true, it's fake.
That is what makes it so valuable to scammers and so dangerous to everyone else. She was not reckless. She was not looking to get rich fast. She wanted to do something thoughtful, something that would matter to her husband. She put money into the platform and watched the balance grow. Within 2 weeks, the platform told her she had doubled her money. That number, doubled in 2 weeks, sits at the center of everything that happened next. Because when you see a number like that, attached to money you actually sent, the instinct is not suspicion. The instinct is excitement. The interest said you've basically doubled your money. So she did what almost anyone would do. She kept on buying more. Here is what she did not know. The platform was completely fake. Every dollar she transferred was gone the moment it arrived. The balance on the screen, the profits, the gains, the growing total, none of it was real. Certified cryptocurrency investigator April DeValconier has seen this exact setup dozens of times. She describes it plainly. The reality is those funds, as soon as they're deposited, are gone. What victims see on the dashboard is a number someone typed in. It is not connected to any real account. It is a prop. The scam has a name in law enforcement circles. It is called pig butchering, a term that comes from the idea of fattening a pig before slaughter. The victim is kept comfortable, kept excited, kept investing. The scammers monitor how much is coming in, and they keep the platform looking healthy for as long as the victim keeps sending money. They try to get you to invest a smaller amount first. They show you these incredible gains. Then they encourage you to add more, then more. Then they tell you to let it sit. Let it grow. Do not touch it yet. She listened, and she kept sending money. Then she tried to pull it out. This is the moment every scam like this has been building toward. Because the minute you try to withdraw, the mask comes off. Suddenly, there were conditions she had not seen before. Taxes owed before the money could be released. Processing fees that needed to be paid up front. The account would be frozen pending verification. Each obstacle required another payment. The scammers were not done taking yet. This is how the operation extends its reach past the original investment. The victim is not just tricked once. They are tricked into paying to access money that does not exist. And by the time the pattern is clear, most people have already paid the extra fees. Because stopping feels like giving up the whole thing. She paid the taxes, she paid the fees, she kept trying. She went from $55,000 in original investment to $85,000 total by the time Scott stepped in. He had to tell her. She was being scammed. She did not want to hear it. When you have spent weeks watching a number grow, when you have told yourself this was the smart move, when you are already imagining handing your husband that screen on your anniversary, accepting that it was all constructed is not a quick process. It is a collapse. It was not until she was $80,000 in where she had to accept what was actually happening. They went to the police together. The investigator sat across from them and said there is a 99% chance that your money's not coming back. That number, 99%, is not a rough estimate. It is what cryptocurrency fraud looks like at the recovery stage. The transactions had already moved through multiple digital wallets, been converted and reconverted, and ended up somewhere investigators traced to Nigeria. There is no central institution that can freeze those transfers. There is no international protocol that moves fast enough to catch it. By the time law enforcement is involved, the trail is cold and the money is restructured beyond recovery. The total loss was $55,000 in what she believed were legitimate investments, and another $30,000 paid in fake taxes and fees. $85,000. Gone. She really has a hard time sleeping at night. Scott said that quietly, not for effect, just because it is true. That is what this leaves behind. Not just an empty account, but a person who replays every decision, every transfer, every moment she felt confident and excited, and now measures it against what she knows now. She has a whole lot of trust issues, not just with platforms, with herself. This is the part the dollar amount does not capture. The $85,000 is the number that makes the headline. But the thing that actually takes longest to rebuild is the internal sense that you can read a situation correctly, that you can tell real from fake, that your judgment is worth trusting. These scams are engineered to destroy exactly that. The platform she used was found on Facebook. It had no licensing, no regulatory oversight, no accountability of any kind. There is a free tool called FINRA.org that stands for the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, the nonprofit body that monitors licensed brokers in the United States. Any legitimate investment platform will have a record there. You can look up whether a broker is licensed, check their employment history, and verify whether they are legally allowed to offer investment services. It takes about 3 minutes. Scott's wife did not know it existed. Most people do not. A real investment platform does not promise to double your money in 2 weeks. That is not how markets work. That is not how any legitimate financial product works. When a platform shows impossible returns, that is not a lucky find. That is a signal. The problem is that the signal is buried inside something that looks exactly like a real opportunity. The fake dashboard looks like a real dashboard. The gains look like real gains. The excitement you feel is real, even when everything producing it is constructed. They also do not ask you to pay taxes before releasing your own money. That is not how taxes work anywhere. Investment gains are reported to the IRS and taxed when you file, not collected by the platform as a condition of withdrawal. If a platform is asking you to wire a payment to access your own balance, that platform is stealing from you. Full stop. Scott and his wife went public with this story because they believed someone needed to hear it. That decision had a cost. She did not go on camera, but she let Scott describe what happened in detail, including the dollar figures, including the shame, including the sleepless nights. That took something real. If it sounds too good to be true, it's fake. Scott said that himself at the end of their interview. He is right. And he knows now how little that phrase means when you are inside the experience. Because from the inside, it did not sound too good to be true. It sounded like a smart decision made by a woman who wanted to do something meaningful for her husband. Think about someone in your life right now, a parent, a sibling, a friend, who uses Facebook to find investment opportunities, who might be watching a balance grow on a platform and feeling that same excitement she felt, who has not heard the term pig butchering and would not recognize it if they did, who would be too ashamed to say anything if something went wrong. Share this video with that person, not because they are old, not because they are careless, because this was built specifically to fool people who are careful. That is the whole design. I will see you next week.